look at life in a whole new way.
She not only inspired the graduates, she persuaded all of us to be better people.
It is going to be my great honor and great pleasure to introduce Yolanda Johnson. I got to see her on Channel 11. I got to read her book. I borrowed my mom's. I didn't put it down until I finished it. It's a very good book. She's a precious sister.
So I grew up in a household of domestic violence. I developed extremely low self-esteem that caused me to become obsessive compulsive. I became suicidal, which landed me in a mental hospital. I became extremely promiscuous, which landed me in an abortion clinic one day because I was too embarrassed for anybody to see the results of the life I was living. But I persevered and I moved past that. And it was not easy. It was an everyday struggle. But I stand before you now as a senior process engineer at a company, in an international company in America. I'm a wife, a mother of a 5-year-old and a set of 20-month-old twins. And that was after going through 4 miscarriages.
I'd just like to say that Yolanda Johnson is an excellent speaker, and we cannot wait to have her at one of our special events.
In a time when everyone is focusing on the challenges in the world, Yolanda shows people how to survive them.
So I just hope that anyone listening today, be very careful in your dating lives. Be careful finding that mate, because both of the parents need to be in the home. I can't tell you how many women that I met had some type of issue with their father. In my case, my father was in the home, but he was very abusive.
According to a Department of Justice survey, 1 in 4 American women experience domestic violence.
You have a stupid nerve about your stupid and you don't learn after I beat your ass. You do not learn.
When you look back, are you amazed you didn't crack in some other way?
Absolutely. The only thing that kept me from cracking was the thought of my children.
The program, and I actually saw the women that were on the front. Then I began to think about how many people could actually leave here and not actually recognize all of the women on the program. So I totally changed my whole agenda, and I decided that I'm not going to let one of you leave here not being able to name all of these women. And the first thing that you'll see about me is I'm not your typical speaker. I will not stand here and recite facts to you. You're going to participate with me today, okay? So I'm actually going to get some of you to give me a name. And I'll give you some facts about her. So just anyone on the program. And that is a long story. I was born in Shreveport. I spent my school-age years in Mississippi. I went to school in New Orleans. That's where I stayed, met my husband, and I experienced Hurricane Katrina in 2005.
I mean, that's like a tidal wave.
Yes, sir. It's a levee of about 11 feet. And then when the storm pushed in, a 20-foot tidal surge breached that levee and brought all that water in. We're estimating now, as we get out in our boats, which is the only way to get to some of the families who have stayed, and what we're finding out is several of the families in St. Bernard Parish remained.
How about this lady down here? You know who this is? That's Alice Walker. Alice Walker grew up in Georgia. She again was very fortunate that she had both of her parents in the home, but they were very poor sharecroppers. And one day she was horsing around with her brother, and they were playing around with a BB gun. The BB gun went off, shot her in one of her eyes, and her parents were so poor and didn't have transportation that they couldn't get her to the hospital until 7 days later. By that time, a visible scar tissue formed over her eye. And as a result of being taunted and stared at, she became painfully shy and she retreated to herself. But she, again, like Maya Angelou, used this time to develop her love of poetry and literature. And she's even quoted as saying that she saw people and things in a whole new way after this time in her life. And she went on to become the first African American to win a Pulitzer Prize for her work, The Color Purple. Who all has heard of The Color Purple? In the year 1983. And one day a cousin introduced me to happy hour at a club. I was 19. Went to the club, man asked me to dance. It's like, oh wow, maybe I'm not so ugly after all. Then that man asked for my number. Oh my gosh, I really must not be so ugly after all. So I grasped onto what men had to tell me because I did not get that at home. And there are many people that are going about their lives. Maybe they didn't take onto promiscuity, but alcoholism, drug addicts, it's all the same. I was an addict just like anyone else. So there are many people that are going through life now, and they look very normal. They may be doing very well, but they have things going on that they covered up because we walk around with masks, because we are told that we have to be somebody.
Alonda, your book has been such a blessing and inspiration to me. I'm sure it will touch the lives of others as it did mine. Thank you for being so open about the challenges you have faced. I can now learn from your example of strength. And I think that'll be an inspiration for a lot of women because it gave me faith.
That can happen when you keep pushing on with your life. And I want you to know that every single woman in this room is a great woman. Every single woman, the women that are sitting on the stage, and you're a great woman, you with the glasses. I don't know anything about you, but I know you're a great woman. Every single woman sitting here is great. And you know, all the things I've mentioned to you, it might have stopped the average person. And many of you can probably relate to some of the things that I mentioned. Your struggle may be a bit different. But if you're sitting here today, you've either educated yourself to become the person that you are today and to hold the positions that you hold at this great institution, or you're here in the process of educating yourself so that you can move toward the goals that you have in your life. But what I want you to know, and I want all of you to hear me and everyone out here to hear me, if no one else ever tells you in your life, you are a great woman in American history and culture.